Hey everyone, I am Paul Baker. I am the CEO for the Greater Idaho Falls Chamber of Commerce, and today I'm here with Lisa Burtenshaw.
Hi everyone.
And everyone should probably know at this point that you were running for mayor. And
By now, it would be nice if they did.
So, I like to start these interviews by first off saying thank you.
Thank you
For being willing to throw your hat in the ring. And again, I think most people don't realize the sacrifice that comes with, and the sphere of responsibility and the weight of that comes with. And so thank you for being willing to throw your hat in the ring and knowing full well what comes with that.
Thank you. I just appreciate being here.
Good. Well, let's start off with the obvious question, which you probably get asked everywhere you go, which is, why have you decided to run for mayor?
Yeah, so having been raised here and always calling this my hometown, I am concerned with growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have to be managed, or we're going to lose what's really special about Idaho Falls. Having growth managed means that we're going to have to grow with it, because we can't stop it.
Yeah.
And the momentum is carrying us. So we either have to catch the momentum and ride with the momentum and say this didn't change us, or we'll be buried by it.
Mm-hmm. So you are, I would say, in terms of experience and understanding this community very well, have been here for all of your life, and you've served on the city council. So I guess as you've kind of watched the community, the town, the city grow from being a kid to then working and growing through the various different things you've done in terms of contributing to your community, what have you seen from both sides of the lens there? So one from just an average day-to-day citizen to someone that's sitting on a city council and looking at things from different sides of that lens.
Yeah, it's a good question. So Idaho Falls is a fantastic place to live, regardless of whether you're single, young, old.
Mm-hmm.
But from my perspective and from my lifetime, raising a family here is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really amazing. It's safe. It's about community. It's about belonging.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of the things that the world talks about wanting.
Yeah.
And we have it here.
Yeah.
And so, I probably, you'll have to repeat the question, because I was thinking about all of that lifetime of living in Idaho Falls and watching it change.
Yeah.
And I've watched where downtown used to be deserted.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived out on the east side of town growing up, and the mall came out there, and the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And downtown became quite a ghost town.
Yeah.
And now it's vibrant.
Yeah.
And so the leadership that helped the community see what the river was and what a gem was, what a gem the river is, getting the redevelopment district off of Lindsay, getting Monrock out of Snake River Landing, being able to use all of that and now capture the river. Yeah. That's amazing leadership. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of progress that a growing city has to manage. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to look at your resources, see what you have, and take the next step.
Yeah. So all this time, you've seen the city grow, and you've seen the ebbs and flows.
Yeah, because it hasn't always grown.
Right.
It hasn't always grown. There are times where it has stagnated. When the INL, I have a degree in mechanical engineering. Mm-hmm. And so I was in some internships out at INL. Mm-hmm. And when their mission went just to clean up, there was a feeling of they're going to shut this down.
Yeah.
And I remember my parents being concerned about that at the time. Yeah. It's like, this is our major employer. My dad was an attorney here in town. We had 7 kids in our family. And so, it hasn't always been this way.
Right.
So I'd rather work with this
yeah.
than to work with what happens when you're on the decline.
Yeah. And so there's been a lot of things that you've witnessed over the years, but there's also been a lot of things that you yourself have actively contributed over your lifetime that you've been here. So I'd love for you to kind of share a little about some of those things that you've been involved in over the years, and kind of just speak to that a little bit. And I guess let's just start off with soccer, because that's actually something that I thoroughly love and enjoy, and it's a topic I know a lot about. But when I first moved to Idaho Falls, one of the first things that I did actually was get involved in the soccer community and coach soccer.
Yes.
And but anyway, there's a thriving and growing soccer community here that you've had some involvement in over the years.
Yes. Primarily just with parents in the soccer clubs.
Mm-hmm.
What is important to me is that kids belong.
Mm-hmm.
Kids have an activity to do.
Mm-hmm.
They have somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
They have someone who's watching out for them.
Mm-hmm.
More than just in their own family.
Right.
Growing up here, I knew I had 20 moms. They were all watching out for us.
Right.
I think that's what organized sports do for kids,
Mm-hmm.
but it has become expensive.
Yeah.
And so and volunteers can burn out.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the involvement that we've had in either BYSL or
Mm-hmm.
just youth sports is to try and make them sustainable.
Yeah.
How do we make this sustainable so that it doesn't just disappear when the one person who's been running it can no longer shoulder all the burden?
Yeah. Burnout's a real thing.
It is.
Especially
It is a
in kids'
real
sports.
thing, but you can't afford to let that next generation down.
Yeah.
Right? That next generation needs it just like
Mm-hmm.
this one. So it's about sustainability.
Yeah. And so, tell me a little bit more then about all the other different things that you've been involved in.
Well, I was on the Idaho Falls School Board,
Yeah.
and I care a lot about neighborhoods, neighborhood schools. That is how Idaho Falls is built. It's built in neighborhoods, and you can see it from the time that INL came in. It became really busy, out around Toffus Park. You build parks, you build schools, you build churches. And so when Idaho Falls needed to have new elementary schools, the schools were incredibly overcrowded. I remember Edgemont had one bathroom for the girls, one bathroom for the boys, and 500 students.
Wow.
It was an issue because the janitor couldn't get in to clean them.
Oh, wow.
Because when are you going to clean the bathrooms? You've always got kids in the bathroom. You
right.
can't shut the bathrooms down. So we were able to pass a bond to build 4 elementary schools in the playground of where their current school was built.
Wow.
And then removed the school. So I learned a lot about contracts, what the, whether you're going to use a construction manager or a general contractor, just all of that about contracts. And those buildings came in on time and under budget. And they're a beautiful resource to our neighborhoods. It's the neighborhood school.
Yeah.
It's where you can go after school. It's where you gather. It's your gathering place in your neighborhood.
Yeah. That's brilliant. So as you kind of think about, I guess, all the other different things you're involved in, I mean, obviously school board, school district, there's a lot of other things that come as a result of that.
I'd like to give one more if you're okay with
Please,
that.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So one thing that was happening in our district was if you went to Taylorview Junior High, you had a very different experience than if you went to Clary Gale Junior High. These were 7th, 8th, and 9th grade true junior highs, and they were able to shuttle buses for 9th graders over to the high school if you lived at Taylorview because the economic demand, academic demand coming from Taylorview. And right at the time that was the state legislature was saying every student's going to have a laptop. We're going to have all of these online courses, which was repealed. But as a school board, we saw a model for project-based learning. We saw that parents wanted choice, and that not every path was necessarily college, but that the most important skills were the soft skills.
Yeah.
Communication, collaboration, good work ethic. That's what is going to make someone successful. Your ACT score is only a predictor of what college you get into. So it's not that education isn't important.
Yeah.
It's what comes
Yeah.
by being in a classroom with a teacher who cares, is professional, inclusive of kids, and works to bring out the best in the student. So we did create Compass Academy as a option, not an option for everyone,
Right.
but as an option. And I think we've seen over time the school choice has really been pushed even further.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do it within public school. And so I'm not here to talk about charter schools or public schools or private schools, but choice. We could see that choice was important.
And I guess you could extend that on one further than you think about College of Eastern Idaho.
Yes.
You know, and so having those options and choices, CTEC.
Yes.
You know, so all things have happened over the time that you've been you've been here.
It has. It has happened. Being part of that, bringing, changing the ITech into a true community college, and then having kids be able to go from the high school to College of Eastern Idaho. I'd share a personal experience if you're okay.
Please.
We can.
Yeah, of course.
My son did that as a senior, and he met a professor there, and the professor said, "Oh, I taught at UVU." That interaction right there made my son say, "I'm college ready."
That's awesome. I love that.
He just needed that one person
Yeah.
to say, "No, this is the same curriculum
Yeah.
at the university," and he was ready to go.
That's amazing. I was terrible at school. In fact, it was my English teacher kind of said on my school report, when Paul turns up for school, it's like seeing Halley's Comet. It's a once in a lifetime experience. I was terrible at it, right? But when I moved here, so I've been here like 4 years now. I had the opportunity of facilitating the ribbon cutting for Elevate Academy, and Logan Waitchie
Yes.
was the guy that kind of helped make that happen. And I just remember saying to him and saying to other people, I think if I had more choice as to what my education could have been like, I think I would have done a lot better or a lot sooner in certain ways too.
Yeah.
Versus the kind of, I'm not knocking anyone that's happy to go through their hard knock life of university either. That's the pathway I eventually took. But I think I would have stayed longer and been more engaged academically if I actually had choice available to me.
I agree with that. We always said it was an agrarian calendar with an industrial model.
That's a good.
And so we you are your lot is your birth year.
Yeah.
So why don't you move through with your interests and.
So let's talk about some of the transferable skills from those experiences then. How do you think sort of the period of time you've kind of served on the school board and all the other different voluntary things you've done over the years, how do you transfer the skills that you've learned over those years to running a city?
The city. Okay, so we'll go back and talk just what the city does, what the role of the city is maybe, right?
Yeah.
So I think, I'm not a history teacher, but I think about it in the sense of if you have a group of people who live near each other, they can say, okay, collectively, we want clean water.
Right.
How are we going to manage our water supply so that we have clean water? How are we going to manage our sewage? How are we going to manage our garbage? That is really the primary role of a city. And you have to make sure that you're really good at those things so that the layers that come after that are beneficial to the
Yeah.
people. So I think that when you start at the basics and say what are we doing that we're really good at, so that we can get to these other pieces, then that's where you talk about the budget and the managing part and the employees, and that's the crucial part of what a mayor does. A mayor does not vote in very rare occasions to break a tie. So the mayor doesn't set the priorities. The mayor doesn't write the laws. The mayor is there to make sure that the services are managed in a way that allow for that next level of community and life to enrich us.
I sometimes kind of reading things online. I'm glad you were able to provide that clarification, because I sometimes think people kind of assume that the mayor is kind of similar to a president, where you can write executive orders and things like that. But this level, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. No.
Yeah, and I guess like the other thing to kind of go alongside that is that the mayor also has got a legislative body that's in the form of a city council, in which to report to. And so tell me a little bit about how that dynamic has worked for you while you've served on a city council while working with Mayor Casper.
So the city council sets the priorities and sets the budget. The mayor presents a clean budget, should present a clean budget. I think that we've got some work to do there.
Right.
Let's present the cleanest budget, and then the council, with their priorities, applies those priorities to the budget.
Right.
There's never going to be enough money for the council to do everything that the council would like to do. It's limited resources and unlimited desire.
Right.
So then it is the mayor's responsibility to hold the directors. We have very smart people in our city to run the departments. It is the mayor's responsibility to hold the directors accountable to their budget and to those priorities.
And so I guess like the other little piece then that goes alongside that then is, let's talk about day one. So Lisa Burtenshaw is elected mayor. You've got a little bit of time between when you actually kind of take post, January 1st, right? After the election. What can city employees expect from you on the first day? What's the kind of message you want to send?
Two things. Well, I'll say two things to that. First of all, because I have been on the city council for 4 years, I'm proud of what the city workforce does and is. It goes back to that first question about what is the role of the city. So when I wake up after a big snowstorm, 17th Street, Sunnyside, they're out working. They've been working all night.
Yeah.
I pay attention when the white strip goes down on the road. It's like, oh, the city knows that there's something coming.
Right.
We're going to protect that. So I think the city workforce should know that I appreciate them. So that, I put that out there. I'm laying that out there right now.
Yeah.
I appreciate what the day-to-day job is of fire, police, public works, finance. What they're doing is important work.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think we are treating our city from an administrative level like they are 12 companies.
Right.
Instead of harnessing the problem solving and the solution oriented mindset that I bring to the job.
Yeah.
My education is, and my brain, I'll say it this way, my education matches how I think,
Right.
not reverse.
Right.
I became a mechanical engineer because I'm problem solving oriented. I'm solution oriented. The thing that I also have, if you're okay to have me keep talking, is
Yeah.
I'm relationship based.
Uh-huh.
Those two things together
Yeah.
is how I get things done.
Mm-hmm. And so let's describe let's expand that a little bit then in terms of leadership style. Communication is vital to any successful
Critical,
organization.
and not the kind of communication that is punitive,
Yeah.
or people oftentimes use communication as currency.
Right.
I do not use communication as currency to punish or to reward.
Yeah.
Communication is open to everyone,
Yeah.
everyone on the same page.
I appreciate that.
That's important to me, Paul. I mean, I
Yeah.
want you to know that communication is not currency.
It is.
Information is not currency.
Yeah, I think that's good to know, and definitely something that I have felt myself when I took on this role was the importance of communicating with the community, and I definitely see that, and listening to what folks are concerned about is actually so we talked about internal communication, but let's talk about the external side of how you would like to, as a mayor, communicate outwards towards the citizens. And what would you like to see different or do different to kind of help improve some of that, perhaps?
Yeah, I do think that the day of the 4 p.m. post-register coming to the front door, it's gone. And now I feel like that is the same case with go to the website.
Right.
That's not the answer. No one's going to go to the website, and there's just so much. Even in a Google search, if you were to type airport master plan, you're going to have 2010, 2024. It's all there. And so I think it is a matter of how do we push it in a way that makes it clear and timely. Timely so that people get information that they didn't know they wanted.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, they're coming to plow my street tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to move my car, instead of just a map.
Yeah. I guess the other component to that is there's different trends, obviously, when it comes to communication efforts. I mean, I love that, and I was saying this to someone else the other day. I love how proactive the city is at communicating, that your street's going to be plowed. No one wants to get a ticket. So, but that kind of information they really want to get.
They really want to get.
They want to know that,
yes.
Right? We host the 4th of July parade. It's the chamber that hosts the 4th of July parade, and we sure as heck want people to know that this is the parade route, and please move your vehicles,
yes.
right? And the people on that route are like, we want to know. The other side to that, though, is you kind of think about like voter turnout, engagement. What are the kind of elements that you think that, especially when people are really concerned about growth right now, that currently we're not seeing from the city that you would like to implement to get that greater engagement, get greater participation at budgetary,
yes.
meetings, and just like seeking out who that council person is and all those kind of things that.
Yeah. So when the city has an event, it is well attended. Whether it is the opening of the fire station or 4th of July, we need that in our neighborhoods. We need to take it on the road.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think we need to say, instead of you come to us, that's that philosophy again of you come to the webpage.
Yeah.
You come to the city thing. It's like, actually, the city's is coming to your neighborhood. The fire department, the police department, we're coming to your neighborhood. You can see us. You know who we are. It is intimidating. I remember that. I remember being on the PTO and going to a school board meeting and thinking like, I can't meet the superintendent.
Right.
That's one first of all, it's the principal, then it's the superintendent, then it's the council, then it's the mayor. Like, none of those barriers should exist, but they socially do exist. And so I think it is, we don't expect you to always come to us. We're going to come to you. We're going to say, here's the safety plan for your neighborhood. Here's the police officers who are in your neighborhood. Here's the church that's in your neighborhood. Here's the meeting place at the school.
Right.
We need to have those block parties again and say, introduce ourselves again to the neighborhoods.
Yeah. I like that. I think that'd be really great. I like that proactive approach, um, because also, and again, I've seen it here in the role I play. If you're kind of out there and be more visible,
Mm-hmm.
you're more approachable,
Yeah.
and you're not this standoff big organization that no one should, you know, bother to communicate with.
Right.
Because
And
the
you're
city's
there.
going to do what the city's going to do, you know.
You're there playing kickball.
Yeah.
You're there with the I mean, for me, it is all about that connection with that next generation, and connecting intergenerational.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make the community
Mhm.
look and feel
Yeah.
like the community has for the last 40 years.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that I have noticed people say is that you're a Rebecca Casper 2.0. And I find that extremely sexist, actually. Honestly, I do. I think that if there was two guys up for a mayoral seat, I doubt very much that that comparison would happen. And but it's definitely something that I think needs to be addressed. And I know both you and I know both Rebecca. I know you're two very different people. But tell me a little bit what you think kind of sets you apart in terms of what folks have seen in the past to what you want to do in the future.
I agree with you, actually, Paul. I think that you would not say those two men are exactly alike.
No.
You would not look at that. Rebecca is a smart woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's a political science
Major, yeah,
PhD, Berkeley.
Yeah.
I'm a mechanical engineer trained from BYU.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way that my mind works, the way that I've had experience working on projects and through projects and managing budgets, I think that's my strength.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when Rebecca took office 12 years ago, there was a time for her
Mm-hmm.
in that role, and she's done a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Times have changed now, and we need a problem solver.
Right. Yeah.
And that isn't a criticism of her, and it's not a aggrandizement of me. I just think it's a skill set that I have.
Yeah. I also I kind of think this way also about the way life works is that we need to have different people surround us all the time, and that's the way life is designed, right? And I would not be able to do. I'm someone that's like a visionary thinker. I am not necessarily the detail-oriented person, but I'm surrounded myself with people that are detail-oriented and can translate the stuff that's in my head into things that are actionable. But no way would I ever put myself next to another man and say that I am the twin version of this person just because of our sex.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
at all.
Yes.
And that's something when I saw that I feel very passionate about that. I represent the business community of which there's a significant amount of amazing women who do genius things on a daily basis while also taking care of their families and running around after children, or amazing grandmas or amazing mentors. And so that was just something I really felt passionately that I wanted to address while we have the opportunity today.
I appreciate that.
Well,
actually, it's real, and it shouldn't be considered anymore.
I agree.
In 2025,
Yeah.
it should not be a consideration anymore.
Yeah.
I'm running on my merits
Yep.
and on my experience.
Yeah. And I'm glad you are. You know, I really am. So let's talk a little bit about then growth.
Okay.
It's everyone's favorite subject, or not very favorite subject, I guess, depending on which way you're on the spectrum of that. Obviously, that's a big concern for us as a chamber. Now, my attitude to that is that growth is inevitable when you live in a place that's so freaking awesome, like Idaho Falls, right? It really is.
It is. I spent 20 years creating this with this community. Not me alone, but this community, right? Being what we are, and we were discovered.
Yeah.
It's for the good.
You
It's
kinda
for the
were.
good.
Yeah,
The
the cat's
opposite
out
is
the back.
yeah, but the opposite is decay.
Yeah.
Look at all of the good things that have come to Idaho Falls
Mm-hmm.
in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I would say healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
We have amazing healthcare in
Yeah.
Idaho Falls
Mm-hmm.
because of the growth.
Yeah.
We have Costco. Yes, people love Costco. I was here before Sam's Club came. We have Sam's Club, but think of the healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
It's amazing
Mm-hmm.
how many specialists we have and how close we are to that kind of access to
Yeah.
healthcare, making our lives better.
What else have you noticed?
The outdoors,
Mm-hmm.
the healthiness that people are searching for in a more healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up here, it was a perfunctory trip to Yellowstone.
Right.
It's like we didn't appreciate it.
Mhm.
We didn't know what we had
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
We lived 90 minutes from Grand Teton, 90 minutes from Island Park.
Mm-hmm.
Take your pick one day,
Yep.
once a year you go there.
Yep.
Now the draw to the environment,
Yep.
the beauty,
Mm-hmm.
all of that, the river,
Yep.
once again, to go back to the river,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've noticed, the
Yeah.
difference. And so my dad, or, growing up, we had a fourth grade project just like every other Idaho student has a fourth grade Idaho project, and we bushwhacked to get to the river.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, to
Wow.
look at the river.
Wow.
Because we weren't going to stand on Broadway Bridge, so
Yeah.
we came out here, and I'm sure we could have found a different place, but we walked a trail down to the river to look at the river.
Wow.
And now it's just such a gem, and we have to protect that. That is one of my priorities on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Is I am a check off the list kind of person, and so I have police and fire. With growth, we need to make sure that police and fire continue to offer services.
Yeah.
They have the kind of equipment and personnel to continue to keep us safe and healthy. And then to go back to the river, we need a river corridor plan.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's just been through Rotary,
Mm-hmm.
the duck race,
Yeah.
and we are going to work with the county to make sure that we protect the river corridor so that as development does come, that it doesn't take away that special piece from the rest of the residents of Idaho Falls.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that too. I definitely have a great admiration for the work the Rotary Club have done on this green belt, and
Yeah.
everyone gets to enjoy it. And even now, folks don't understand that it was the Rotary Club that.
It's the Rotary Club with the visionary leadership of Mayor Tom Campbell,
Yeah.
and then just continue moving through. It has been a
Mm-hmm.
labor of love.
Mm-hmm.
Look, 30 years, 40 years goes by, and then it's something.
Yeah.
But you have to start with a vision.
Yeah.
And that's what this, all of the anger around growth has me concerned about,
Mm-hmm.
because being angry does not set vision.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know, what is it going to look like 20 years from now,
Mhm.
30 years from now?
Yeah.
Are you just going to be surrounded by county and angry?
Yeah.
Or are you going to have more parks and more police stations and more maybe, I'm not going to say police station. I shouldn't have said that. I should have said fire station, because we're good in our police department. But,
Yeah.
but as we grow as a city,
Yeah.
we need emergency response.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those are.
And you have to have the vision
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the part that concerns me, is
Mhm.
that the anger surrounding growth,
Mm-hmm.
residential anger.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily coming from the business community. I think the business community appreciates more clients, more
Sure.
customers.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
So,
So
from that regard,
So let's talk about residents then. Obviously, a big thing that comes up is Imagine IF and the comprehensive plan, and the growth of high density
Mhm.
units in the area. There are a variety of different perspectives and approaches to managing that. Tell me a little bit about what yours is.
I think that high density does belong in a city.
Mm-hmm.
If the density is coming, because we know 1,500 people per year for the last 5 years have come to Idaho Falls, and that number is 3,500 for Bonneville County per year for 5 years. If the growth is there, the investment comes right after it, and it's not big investors primarily from all over the country. It's regional. So there's local plus, within probably a 3 or 4 or 5 hour radius, right? Those are kind of the investors that came, and they noticed that Idaho Falls was missing a product that they thought that they could offer. So density belongs in a city, not on the outskirts, because the city ends up being the regional hub. And when you have high dense living sitting on the outskirts of town, all of the services are in the town, there's a lot of traveling and a lot of traffic.
Right.
A lot of inability to get to daily amenities. And so, if density belongs in the core of the city, near amenities, near commercial. I would say this. The comprehensive plan is a plan. It's required state statute to have a comprehensive plan, and it basically it isn't code. It doesn't offer anyone a property right. It just says this is how the city is going to grow, and so, or could grow. If a developer comes in and says, well, I want to turn this lot into a concrete pit, the city can say, I'm sorry, that is a non-compatible use. You are right next to residential.
Right.
Residential and industrial like that don't go well together. And we've had that. We've had that literal example. It was in reverse. They wanted to put residents near a concrete pit, and the city said, no, that's an incompatible use. But residential, near residential, would be a compatible use. So I know that is a frustration when the land sells and the next thing that comes in isn't single family residence or a park. But it is part of the free market economy and the personal property rights.
And so I guess the other component to that also is what the city can do legally. Again, I think there's a kind of a misunderstanding. Again, like the mayor can't sign some sort of executive order and just go, right, no more high density necessarily. But there is also, in terms of legal responsibilities and duties that the city has to ensure that they are aligned with what the law dictates.
Yeah, okay, and also what the residents want.
Right.
So I think that there is for sure a place within code to look at what has come in recently. It's one thing when it's on paper, it's another when it gets built, and look and say, is 1 foot or 2 feet or 3 feet of setback for every foot up? That's in code. That's what a developer needs to know so that it's predictable for them. Because if you were to just contract develop, you pick your friends and say, okay, you build here, right? We definitely follow the law, and here's the law, and here's the expectation when a developer comes in. But we can go back and we can go, actually, it's not in the comprehensive plan, but it's in the subdivision ordinance. You can go in and say that this is too high. So the city does have buffers already, and we want to move from what is typically single family detached into a more of a apartment style into more commercial areas. It gradually builds up that way. But as far as what sits up against single family, you could say, yeah, we're willing to go in and look at that ordinance. The other thing that is important to remember, because there's always two sides to a coin, is that the city is also trying to maintain all of the roads, all of the sewer, the water, all of the infrastructure that the city is responsible for after the developer comes, and how do we keep property taxes low?
Right.
That is the other side of that coin.
Right.
And so if we are already in doing all of that maintenance work, which is a fee that residents pay, whether it's streets, it's property taxes, water, it's through your water bill. If you're already paying that, then when you add people to it, it doesn't increase your cost.
Right.
So it's an economic strategy in order to have infill where prior it might have stayed county land, nothing was there. Now you have development, you're collecting property taxes, you're already doing the maintenance work on it.
Yeah.
Economically, you have to think about that for residents, new and old,
right.
because we are very mindful of our fixed income residents, and to increase property taxes on them is just it can become unsustainable if you don't grow smart.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing to that, in terms of, again, just come back to the high density question, is stuff that Chamber and myself have looked at is also just trends and what folks are wanting to do these days. So having a city that has choice, again, similar to kind of looking at education,
Yes,
having
this is
educational
the-
choice, you also want to have housing choice.
When you look at our bookends of our demographics, I'm going to call them bookends because some are old, some are young, right? There is that desire to not deal with maintenance, to not have a yard. I have children in all stages of housing right now, and there is a need for apartments for both ends of that spectrum. I lived in an apartment for 10 years.
Yeah.
I was a renter for, and didn't think anything of it. It was a step into home ownership for us, but not everyone eventually wants to land there either.
No.
There is a very different trend in this next generation.
I'm completely adverse to mowing a lawn. Like, it's like, if someone said, "Hey, what's your favorite chore?" Mowing a lawn is not top of my list. It's right down the end. So like I take that into effect when I'm like 45 years of age. So I'm like, okay, well, how big is our lot?
Yeah.
Yes,
there's that. There's also that there is a community that is oftentimes also a micro community within the community. That a lot of these apartments have clubhouses. One thing that I do want to bring up though is that when you look at the housing stock, oftentimes you think they're building more apartments. And in a lot of cases, that's actually not true. They are single property lines, and those are entry to the housing market now. It used to be that you could go get a single detached house as a method to get into the housing market. And now you're more likely, because of the economy, because of the cost of housing, you are more likely to enter into the housing market through a townhouse that you are purchasing that has property lines and property rights, and it still might have common space that's maintained by an HOA, but it is home ownership. And I think that that's also a product that the city of Idaho Falls hasn't seen a lot of.
Yeah. And that is the natural consequence of growth happening.
Yeah.
It really is. And I come from, I come from Dublin. I've lived in London. I've lived in Helsinki, Vegas. I've been around, and it's very stereotypical of any growing city to see, again, a diverse mix of housing options.
And this is a national problem.
Yeah.
It's not just our city, it's a national problem, but it is a problem.
And I guess also the other side to that is kind of, again, representing the private sector here. As a developer coming in, you're going to be looking at the market as a whole and making decisions based on what the demands of the market are. And so for me, I want to make sure and advocate for ensuring that the private sector can continue to do what the private sector does best.
The city does not want to manage housing. the government needs to stay out. As much as this government can stay out of the private market, the better. As soon as the government steps in with more regulations and more regulations, the harder it becomes for our free market economy to stabilize.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched it in COVID. We watched what happens when that overreach is too much, and the inflation is through the roof.
Yeah.
Housing prices skyrocket. Then the interest rate goes down. The housing stock is gone, and now we have the next generation who can't benefit.
Right.
So for me, it is let the free market do its job. We know that permits are slowing in the city, which tells me that, and we can see that prices are coming down just a little bit.
Yeah, there's
not
an adjustment happening right now.
just an adjustment.
Yeah.
Let that work. Let freedom work.
Yeah.
Because the alternative is you get it wrong when you're in the government.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Let the free market work. Bring down housing product. Allow more of the different styles that they're bringing, and control your incompatible uses. Think of them as neighbors. Think of them as homes. It is, for me, it's pretty amazing when an apartment complex gets finished and it has landscaping and lights and people. It in some ways disappears and it just becomes part of a neighborhood. And that's not to say that I don't understand the frustration of the traffic and the density.
Yeah.
I do. I completely understand what that feels like. If I could go back to my 2002 life in Idaho Falls when I lived on the edge of town on Sunnyside, I'd love it. But then I would miss out on all of the things that I've also gained in the last 20 years.
Right.
So I wouldn't go back. It's called nostalgia. And I didn't make up that word, but it's nostalgia and amnesia put together in a word.
I like that. I like that a lot. So let's talk about traffic.
Okay.
It's a subject matter that you've had some involvement as a councilwoman. So tell me a little about some of the studies and the things that you've discovered over the period of time you've kind of been looking at traffic and the kind of metro plans, I guess.
Yeah. So when I first got onto the council, I was surprised at the lack of coordination that the agencies had within the county. And I don't mean county, I mean we are all part of Bonneville County.
Right.
So not pinpointing the county.
Yeah.
But we as a county did not have enough good relationships. We had some good relationships, but we were not united. We certainly did not speak with a united voice. And then it's easy to divide when you aren't coming together regularly and being able to have conversations to work things out when everybody goes to their own corner. And so I just, by natural choice, I wanted to be on the Bonneville Metropolitan Planning Organization to work on the street vision, what that would look like. And for 2 years we worked through public outreach, and then we'd come back and we'd change the plan, and we'd keep going back and forth until eventually we were able to present as an organization the long-range transportation plan and the access management plan to the municipalities. And I know those are technical words. I know we're in the weeds here.
Right.
What it means is that the cities collectively, Ammon, Iona, Yukon, Idaho Falls, and Bonneville County, have the same vision for what the street patterns will look like for the major roads of Sunnyside, 17th, 1st Street, Woodruff, Hitt. We're going to move out to 65th. We know what that's going to look like, and we've already identified the busy arterial streets.
And I guess like for me that I mean what I appreciate about that is the breaking down of silos between the cities and
Yes.
what the cities are doing, what the county's doing, because we're all part of the same ecosystem.
We are. It is. It has been very good to be a part of that
Yeah.
for the last 2 years. To feel like at any point, even with Roger Christensen, Commissioner Christensen, anytime, pick up the phone, and call. He could pick up the phone, call me. So it isn't just. Oh, we have new commissioners and new blood. It's a relationship that everybody knows we have to work on this relationship.
Right.
And so we've grown together.
Mm-hmm.
We have literally grown together.
That's great.
And
yeah.
so it's important that we work together.
Yeah, I totally agree. I guess let's talk a little bit more now about infrastructure.
Okay?
There's been a lot of investment over the years in infrastructure. Something that I actually truly admire actually about being in a city that is actually relatively small for the infrastructure that actually exists in certain ways too. So I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on that.
So the city is forward thinking.
Mm-hmm.
This city has always been forward thinking, and that's a part of the legacy. But I'm proud to be part of what has happened in the last 4 years with that legacy moving forward. So just in my time, I mean, really, 4 years,
Yeah.
we have taken the water tower, and we knew it needed to be replaced. So we built a new water tower. It's double the capacity. We have water rights into the future.
Mm-hmm.
We have taken Idaho Falls Power and created a fiber utility through partnership there with Idaho Falls Power, the ability to offer fiber
Mm-hmm.
as a city. It's another reason people have come here is for our fiber, and then for our affordable power.
Mm-hmm.
We are half of what the rest of the nation is. We're below half.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, it became concerning that the rest of the country was moving away from power generation. Everything was getting electrified, and nobody was talking about where that power was going to come from. It was going to come eventually from nuclear, which I believe is actually the right source eventually.
Yeah.
But City of Idaho Falls, we leaned into it. We leaned in and said, when everybody's going to the market, we have to be self-reliant.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have built more power generation. We have built a peaking plant so that when everyone else is running to the market, we are able to turn on the peaking plant, make sure that our power is affordable, reliable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very proud of what's happening in Idaho Falls Power with the fiber, with the water, with the sewer. We have 40% capacity still in
Mm-hmm.
our sewer. We have room to grow.
Yeah.
So with the infrastructure, we are good. We need to be strategic now
Mm-hmm.
on where we extend our utilities. Because I know I said, it's smart to grow infill, but we also don't want to get surrounded by the county.
Right.
There's always those two pieces, and so we need to work with developers,
Mm-hmm.
local developers. We need to work with the developers to say where strategically does it make sense for the city to partner to bring sewer and water, so that land can be developed and be in the city rather than surrounded by the county.
Right.
Yeah. That's it. It's a fine line to walk, but you have to see both sides
Mm-hmm.
in order to be strategic about it.
Yeah. So tell me about how you feel with the responsibility of that. How do you kind of day to day, you kind of walk around town, you're thinking about these things, all the
I'm always
time.
thinking about these things.
And because I said it because I do the same thing. I kind of got a lot of things training my mind all the time. But this shift from moving from city council seat into a mayoral one, how do you feel you're able to transfer all that skill and experience and also manage the weight of that sphere of responsibility that you're that you'll take on should you win?
It all comes down to relationships. At the end of the day, it is the relationships. It's the relationships with the developers. It's the relationships with the county. It's the relationships with the local legislature. What happens, a lot in the city is affected by the legislature. And if you know who's responsible for what sphere are they responsible for?
Right.
What does the school district do? What does the county do? What does the legislators do? And what relationships do you have to make everyone pulling in the same direction? The inertia is huge.
Yeah.
That is really what it comes down to, is knowing who to call.
Yeah.
And how to work out your differences and make it better for the people, because that's, at the end of the day, that is the entire point, is to make life good for the people who live in Eastern Idaho.
So let's talk about relationships then a little bit. Obviously, I represent a significant number of folks that live in this area through their employers. Some folks think that the chamber is a part of the city, and so we're not. How would you describe how you would like to see the relationship between the city and the chamber move forward?
I think that we have our roles. And I've said this in different cottage meetings, so I'm glad to tell Paul Baker how I see it. I think that the chamber can define itself and say, this is what the chamber does, and this is where we need the city to show up for us.
Right.
And then the city is, well, here's what we do.
Yep.
And this is where we need the chamber to show up for us. I think, to your exact point, people think that Idaho Falls runs the parade.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It's not. It's the chamber.
Yeah.
We show up, right?
Yes.
And I think that it is those kind of understandings from the school district, CEI, the chamber, the nonprofits. It's a whole system trying to make the community better.
Yeah.
So that is how I see it. It is, where do we show up for you? Where do you want us to show up for you, and how can we show up for you? And then that's how we make it happen.
Yep.
We have to have those conversations. The city's not going to come in and say, "Here, chamber,"
Right.
and give you a mission.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I appreciate
but we
that.
will show up for you.
I appreciate that, and equally to it, and the chamber very much feels that way also, about, like, you tell us also what we can do to help in areas that the city just doesn't have the capacity, doesn't have the resource. What can we do to rally together as a community? You know, and again, we all bring their skills and experience and resources.
And we're all a bridge to each other.
Yes.
The chamber to the workforce and the schools, and the city to the workforce and CEI. We are all a bridge to each other, and we all have our roles to play.
Yeah. Well, I know we're kind of running short on time a little bit, but I wanted to kind of...
You can cut out whatever you need to cut out, Paul.
No, I want to keep all of this in. This is all really good stuff. But I noticed that you kind of recently just did this comparison thing that I wanted to kind of talk about, because perhaps not everyone would have seen this, and of course I had it ready for us to look at, and then it's gone, but I found it.
Okay.
So you kind of have this new promotion marketing material, and it kind of sets you apart from one of the other candidates, Jeff Aldridge, and I'd love for you to kind of talk about that and why that's important, you think, for people to know why folks should vote for you versus someone else.
Yeah, so it isn't that my opponent, it's not that Jeff is new and so he doesn't, get to put his hat in the ring.
Right.
It's that this fear, this idea that because someone has moved here, they get to shut the door behind them and not have a vision of what the city was and what the city will or can be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's what's concerning to me. I had personally never met, still I had never met someone who knew him before he put his hat in the ring. That it's concerning to me that it's just, let's come in and say things that could be, some of the things he said are just blatantly illegal to do. Mm-hmm. And then there's a scrubbing of that platform.
What do you mean by scrubbing?
It just kind of clears it out, right? Okay. All of this, we're going to do an owner-occupied overlay zone. Okay. And then that's illegal. The Supreme Court has already said no to that. It violates property rights. And so that gets cleaned up. So I am concerned that we would just in anger and in fear vote for someone that just capitalizes on that, rather than have the relationships to work to continue to make it better. It is a concern I have.
And so I guess we're gonna come across, especially while being mayor, people with different opinions, and who may also think negatively of you should you be mayor.
Yes.
How are you going to handle that? What's your approach to handling some of that?
So every conversation can be civil, even if it's chilly. I don't want chilly.
Right.
A productive conversation is when I learn something from you and you learn something from me. And those conversations can leave people feeling heard. I think it is a matter of not my way or the highway. It's never that. It's always, we're in this together. And that's always been my approach. Yeah. It's always been my approach. I don't have the answers, all of the answers. It's going to take the community and vision. Collective vision gets things done.
Yeah. So as we kind of wrap up, I kind of been asking people the same question. So if there's anything that we haven't discussed yet that's kind of, again, top of your priorities as to why someone should vote for you, is there anything that kind of comes to mind at this moment that you'd like to share?
Where are we going to be at 20 years from now? Where will we be? Will we be wishing that we had vision and leadership that can rally and build? I think that's the key to me, is that I have a track record, whether it is with the Frontier Center, what we've done for the Idaho Falls athletic boosters and now become Frontier Fields, whether it's with Compass Academy or the 4 elementary schools. It's about building Heritage Park. We built Heritage Park. You go out and you lay sod. You collect ducks out of the river. Yeah. That's what you do when you build community, and you don't, it takes work. It naturally, you think, oh, it just happened. It doesn't just happen. You have to show up, and you have to be willing to sell ducks, collect ducks.
We're talking about the...
Excuse me, the duck race, the actual rotary duck race.
Yeah, I was making sure people know that we're not talking about real ducks.
Yes, not real ducks. I'm sorry. I know I'm not as articulate.
You're good.
I am an engineer. But yeah, not literal ducks, but the little rubber ducks.
Yes.
It's work.
Yes.
It's work. It's work together. And then you can buy the sod, but you need someone to lay the sod. Right. So you lay the sod, and you build the park. And that's how you build community. But you have to show up. Yeah. You have to be present. Yeah. That's what I would say. That's me. Yeah. I'm present. I'm here. I'm building community.
Well, Lisa, I've loved our conversation.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Thanks for the work you do in the chamber.
Oh,
Thanks for the collaboration and the partnership. Yes.
I love what we do, and when I first moved here, I fell in love with the place. And
why?
I fell in love with it because of the sense of community. I loved, like, I remember, like, this experience not long after I moved here, where kids were just kind of walking by and they all said hi, right? And I'm like, oh, that's different, you know. And like, honestly, like, I moved here, I threw my hat in the ring here to do this job that I do now, and I've never felt so welcomed and so embraced, so quickly. And I've lived all over different places, you know, and I come from Dublin in Ireland, and I have people that have gone there, and they all come back and say how amazing and wonderful it was, and that fills me with so much pride to know that people can go to a place where I'm from, that they say nothing but great things, and it's the same thing for Idaho Falls, that, you know, you could be anywhere in the world, and someone that knows about Idaho Falls, like, you're from Idaho Falls, I love that place. It's such an amazing place to be.
Yeah.
And we can all come to this place as through a variety of different ways and means and methods, whether we're born here, multi-generation family, or we just moved here last week. But we all have the same reason why we stay.
Yes.
It's because of that community and that sense of identity that we have in being able to look each other in the eye when we walk past each other and say good morning, you know, and that whole piece about showing up and turning up. There's been times where I personally have gone through difficult challenges and trials, where I've needed help, and I've never had to ask. It's always been offered.
Yes.
You know, I don't have to go looking for someone to offer that help.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, I'm like, man, I got to invest in this community, and I got to do this job. And,
Yes.
And I love it, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And there's don't get me wrong, there's days where I'm like, this is a tough job.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
But I know that I can engage with people, and honestly, it takes me nothing less than 10, 15 minutes sometimes where I might have that moment of doubt, where I interact with someone and my mind's changed.
Yes.
And that's all it takes.
I love that story.
You know, it's fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that story because that is it. When kids, they're part of a community.
Mm-hmm.
If they're willing to extend themselves and say hi.
Yep.
If your neighbor is extending themselves, that means that their needs.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone's needs are taken care of, but their needs are taken care of in a way that they understand community is what's connecting them.
Yeah, and it's definitely a piece that I've loved over this kind of interview series I've had with people, and all different types of candidates from all different walks of life that all pretty much share the same reasons that we all stay.
Mm-hmm.
And we can all have different opinions and different approaches and different styles.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, it is about the showing up. And
It's
about
showing up.
Engaging in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate also, again, coming from Ireland, very old country, right? A lot of history there. And so I appreciate the history of this organization, 120 years, and everyone that's walked before me, that sat in this seat, and the work they've done and contributed to this community
Yes.
over the years. But I also feel the weight of that and the responsibility that comes to, I also now need to look to the future,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I need to make sure that I do a good job and make sure that we keep moving in the right direction.
We will move in the right direction.
Yeah.
We are Idaho Falls.
Mm-hmm.
We're resilient.
Yeah.
We will move in the right direction because
Mm-hmm.
we have in the
Yeah.
past, and we will continue to do that.
Yeah.
It's our heritage.
Yeah.
And you're part of our heritage now,
Well,
right?
and I
mean,
do
that's
feel
it.
that. I
It
think
is.
my name
Yeah,
is going
I
to be
hope it
somewhere
is.
in the history
It
of
will be.
Idaho
Yes.
Falls somewhere.
Here you are.
But it is pattern of leadership, and it's the culture that has been curated over so many years.
Yes.
That you cannot help but, especially when you walk the river, I feel the ancestry of this town and the growth of this town when I walk that green belt.
I do too.
You know, and it's precious,
Mhm.
and it's worth protecting, it's worth savoring, and it's worth investing in a significant way. So anyway, I went on there a little bit.
No.
It's something that's really close to my heart.
It is. There is one other piece. I
Yeah.
know we've moved on
No,
to
you're good.
another. I know we
Please,
have.
no.
So I want to just be clear on my platform.
Mm-hmm.
Public safety,
Yeah.
transparency.
Yeah.
We have a big budget. I told you already. We have all of those companies that the city of Idaho Falls is running.
Mm-hmm.
That all runs through the city's budget,
Yeah.
but that is not our taxes. And so we need transparency with where are our tax dollars going.
Yes.
That is important. So it's public safety, transparency, strategic growth. We talked about strategic growth, and the parks and the river. It's that outdoor, the place for connection in the community, the place for connection in our neighborhoods. It is, all of that is got to be combined. Symbiotic.
Yep. I agree with you wholeheartedly there. And I appreciate you taking the time to kind of articulate clearly what your platform is.
That is the platform.
That's helpful for me as an individual, but also for us as a chamber organization to kind of know, you know, should you be successful and win, what to expect.
Yeah,
You
those
know,
are the priorities. They all have to go together.
Yeah.
One of them without the others
Mm-hmm.
don't work very well.
True. It's all part of the whole symbiotic ecosystem.
It has to be.
Yeah, it is. Well, Lisa, thank you
Thank you.
so very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for throwing your hat in the ring and being willing to make the sacrifice as well. It's a tough decision. Not necessarily for you, maybe you can feel like this is what I need to do, this is my call, but you have to weigh up the sacrifice behind the scenes with family, other commitments that you have in life that require some sacrificing to do what you want to do.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I appreciate the acknowledgement of that, because it for every candidate who has put their hat in the ring, that is what they are saying.
Yeah.
Is I'm willing to sacrifice to build something in this community.
Yeah, exactly. And so I have a great appreciation for every single one
Yes,
that does
I do
it,
too.
and it's a great thing to see. And it's also a great thing, like, to see, especially like, the city of Idaho Falls says seat 2 has got 7 candidates, which is a great sign that people are wanting to engage and participate and show up.
Yes.
You know, make
it better.
It makes for a long interview process.
We appreciate you doing this for all of us.
No, but it's brilliant.
It is.
It's been brilliant. So,
yeah, it's great.
But thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
It's good to see you.
You too. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll catch you again on the next one. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.